She played with my heart, so I turned her friends against her one by one. There are moments you remember not because they were important at the time, but because everything changed after them. For me, it was the first time I saw Alyssa Taylor. She wasn't just pretty. No, Alyssa had that effortless kind of glow. The kind that made people turn when she entered a room. Her laugh, bright and unrestrained, could cut through the dullest party like sunlight splitting gray clouds. But it wasn't just how she looked. It was the way she made you feel seen. It was a Tuesday afternoon. Barely any sun, just stale coffee and half-bored students at our university's main library. I was there, like usual, in the back corner near the windows, headphones in, reviewing psychology notes. I wasn't the kind of guy girls like Alyssa noticed. Quiet, practical, maybe a little too earnest. While she radiated charisma, I built my world out of routine and stability. But that day, she noticed me. "Hey," she said, leaning over my table with a smile that was all curiosity and charm. "You're in Professor Kane's class, right?" I pulled out my earbuds. Yeah, social psych." She tilted her head. "I've seen you take notes like a machine. Thought I'd ask if you had the lecture slides from last Thursday?" I nodded, fumbling with my laptop. "Sure, I can send them. What's your email?" And that was it. A glance, a conversation. A name typed into a blank field. AlyssaTaylor17@gmail.com. I didn't know it then, but I was already falling. In the weeks that followed, our encounters multiplied, bumping into each other on campus, short chats outside the cafeteria. A study group she invited me to join. At first I thought it was coincidence, but the more we talked, the more deliberate it all felt. She started messaging me. Little things at first. "Hey, genius. Did Kane really say Freud was overrated? You around? Need a study buddy and snacks." She called me Professor because I helped explain psych concepts to her when she got lost. I called her Trouble because she had this habit of doodling over my notes and laughing when I pretended to be annoyed. It was innocent, sweet even. But there were moments that blurred the line between flirtation and something more. The way her knee brushed mine and stayed there. The way she'd lean in, her perfume flooding my senses. The way she'd hold eye contact just a second longer than necessary. I remember once. We were in my dorm, lights low, books scattered across the floor. She curled up beside me on the bed, head resting on my shoulder. "You're different," she whispered. Not like the others. Those 4 words were a match thrown onto dry leaves. It wasn't long before I was hooked. We weren't official, no label, no grand declarations. But everything between us hummed with intensity. And we'd walk late at night around campus, sharing secrets under orange streetlights. She told me about her dad leaving when she was young, about her mom's string of bad boyfriends, about never really trusting people. "I fake it a lot," she said one night, her voice barely audible. "Smiles, friends, jokes. Most of the time, I feel like I'm just performing. You don't have to pretend with me," I said. She looked at me, eyes shimmering. "That's what scares me." Those moments bound me to her. I thought I was seeing behind the curtain. Thought I was special. Chosen. My friends tried to warn me. Maya, my best friend since freshman year, didn't hide her suspicion. "She's always surrounded by drama, Caleb," she said. "Be careful." But I was too far in. I didn't see the signs, the inconsistencies in her stories, the way she never wanted to be seen with me in public as anything more than a friend, the way her mood changed like a switch. I told myself it was complicated, that she was scared of love, that I could be patient. In truth, I was just another piece on her board. The betrayal didn't come all at once. It came in cracks, fragments, a message left open on her phone when she went to the bathroom. A screenshot someone sent me anonymously. A joke whispered by one of her friends when they thought I couldn't hear. It finally came to a head one evening at a house party. She was tipsy, spinning around the kitchen with her usual gravity, people orbiting her like satellites. I stood in the doorway, watching her laugh with her closest friend Rachel, who gave me a pitying look as I approached. "Hey," I said. Alyssa turned, her eyes flicking past me for a moment like she'd forgotten I was there. "Oh, hey, Professor," she teased, smiling. "Didn't think this was your scene." I smiled tightly. "You invited me." "Did I?" She laughed, then turned to Rachel. "God, I forget half the crap I say. I was probably high when I texted." Rachel didn't laugh. She just looked at me. Then, quietly, almost like an apology, she said, "You should probably know Caleb. She's not who you think." That night, I learned everything. She never cared. The private moments, performed, the sweet words, scripted. Worse, she talked about it. Bragged, even. Told her friends how easy I was. How she could make me do anything. that I was her emotional puppy. There were texts, recordings, a private group chat where I was the punchline. Poor Caleb thinks I'm broken. Let him fix me, lol. He's cute when he's sad. I walked home in the cold, the music from the party still echoing in my ears. My hands shook. I wanted to scream, to cry, to break something, but all I did was sit on my bed and stare at the wall for hours. Heartbreak isn't loud. It's not slamming doors or dramatic sobs. It's silence. It's losing color in everything you once loved. Toss. Food lost taste. Music sounded hollow. I stopped going to class, stopped answering messages. Even Maya's concerned knocks on my door went unanswered. I played her voice in my head over and over. You're different. I fake it a lot. That's what scares me. Was any of it real? Or had I imagined everything? The worst part wasn't just that she played me. It was that I let her. That I saw the red flags, ignored them, and clung to hope like a fool. I told myself she was broken. That she needed saving. I thought if I gave enough, loved enough, proved myself enough, she'd change. She didn't change. She destroyed. About a week later, I was sitting at a bench on campus, hoodie up, headphones in, trying to drown everything out. That's when Rachel sat beside me. Hey, she said softly. You okay? I didn't answer. I didn't know it was that bad, she added. I thought, I don't know, that she'd grow out of it. She's always been like this, you know. Gets bored, likes control. I looked at her. And you still let her do it. Rachel flinched. Yeah, I did. There was a long pause. She's not untouchable, Caleb. People are starting to see it. You're not alone. That stuck with me. Not the apology, not the empathy. The possibility. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't wallow. I planned. I didn't want drama. I didn't want screaming matches or revenge porn or viral callouts. No, I wanted something slower, colder. Truth. I'd show them all who she really was. Not with vengeance, with clarity, with facts and patience and precision. She thought she controlled the narrative. But she didn't know how much people talk when they feel guilty, or how many friends she had who were tired of being pawns. I would start small, a message here, a conversation there. I wasn't going to break her. I was going to unravel her, one friend at a time. Revenge isn't rage, it's discipline. I had the pain, the motive, the fuel. But that wasn't enough. If I rushed it, made it obvious, the story would flip. I'd become the villain, the bitter ex. Alyssa would play the victim and spin her lies like golden thread. So I planned. Quietly. Thoroughly. Step 1. Rachel, Alyssa's oldest friend, and arguably the only one with a conscience. She'd already shown guilt. Already tried to reach out. She was the first domino, and once she fell, the others would follow. I messaged Rachel 2 days later. You said people were starting to see her. Want to talk? We met at a small cafe near campus, quiet, half-lit, always smelling faintly of burnt espresso beans and cinnamon. She arrived before me, nervously twisting a ring on her finger. Her long brown hair tied back like she was bracing for war. I wasn't sure you'd actually come, she said. I wasn't sure you'd actually care, I replied. Silence. Then she spoke, and when she did, it wasn't with rehearsed lines or defensiveness. It was like a dam breaking. She's been like this for years, Rachel said. Manipulating guys, pitting people against each other. You're not the first, Caleb, but you're the first who actually cared enough to be wrecked by it. So why are you still friends with her? I asked. Why protect someone who does that to people? Rachel looked down at her coffee. It's hard to explain. Alyssa has a way of making you feel like you'll be nothing without her. She gives you attention like it's currency. Take it away, and suddenly you're invisible. I nodded slowly. You ever wonder if the real you is buried under what she turned you into? She flinched. I didn't need to say more. The seed was planted. Over the next few days, Rachel and I started talking more. Nothing big. Texts, shared study notes, the occasional walk around campus. But I could feel it shifting. She wasn't defending Alyssa anymore. She was asking questions. Do you think she ever really feels anything? She used to be different. Or maybe I just wanted to believe that. You know she lied to her ex about being pregnant? Just to keep him around. She was peeling back layers she'd kept on for years. The more we talked, the more I saw guilt flicker behind her eyes. The shame of being complicit. Of laughing at jokes she didn't find funny, of standing silent while I was broken down piece by piece. I never pushed her. I just let the silence sit long enough for her thoughts to echo. But I needed more than guilt. I needed truth. Something undeniable. Not just whispered rumors or shifting loyalties, proof of what Alyssa had done. And Rachel, unknowingly, handed it to me. We were sitting on the grass outside the psych building one afternoon. Rachel pulled out her phone to show me a meme. But as she scrolled, A notification popped up. Alyssa T. Private chat. She blushed and instinctively tried to close it, but I saw the first few words. Don't talk to Caleb. He's trying to get in your head. He's playing you now. I looked at her, eyebrows raised. Rachel froze. It's nothing, just she's paranoid. Can I see? I asked gently. She hesitated, then handed me the phone. What I read made my stomach tighten, and my focus sharpen. He's probably trying to get back at me. Don't fall for his sob story. He'll twist everything and make it look like I'm the monster. Stay away from him, seriously. The irony nearly made me laugh. Does that sound like someone with nothing to hide? I asked quietly. Rachel shook her head. She doesn't even realize how much she's revealing. Maybe you should. What? Reveal her. I didn't need Rachel to go nuclear. Not yet. I just needed her to stop protecting Alyssa, to talk, to ask the right questions around the right people, to let the cracks spread, and she did. It started subtly. I'd hear from mutual friends about how Rachel had been distant from Alyssa lately, that she'd asked someone about that time Alyssa faked a stalker for attention, that she'd admitted Alyssa might have gone too far with me. That was all I needed. People listen when one of your own starts doubting you. Alyssa could feel it too. Her texts to Rachel became more frequent, more panicked, more controlling. Why are you always with him? You said you'd back me. Are you seriously choosing him over me? The thing about Alyssa was she only had power when people didn't see the strings. Once you noticed the puppeteer, the magic died. It came sooner than I expected. A week later, after a class let out, I saw them outside, Alyssa and Rachel, standing near the fountain, arguing in hushed, angry tones. I kept my distance, earphones in, pretending not to notice. But I watched. Rachel's arms were crossed. Alyssa was gesturing wildly, her voice rising, her face twisted into something harsh and unfamiliar. Then Rachel pointed at me. Alyssa turned, locked eyes with me, and I saw it. Fear. Not the theatrical kind. Not the oops I got caught smirk she used on boys who tried to call her out. This was real fear, the kind born from losing control. She stormed off seconds later, heels clicking like gunfire. Rachel didn't follow. That night, I told Maya everything. I owed her that much. She listened, arms folded, lips tight. When I finished, she sat back and exhaled. You really think this is helping? She asked. Dragging her down piece by piece? She dragged me first. I know, she said. I know what she did. I was the one holding your pieces when she shattered you, but this, Caleb, this isn't you. Maybe it is now, I said. Silence. Then, be careful who you become while hurting. Those words stuck with me longer than I wanted to admit. Revenge isn't clean. Every move cuts both ways. And sometimes, people bleed who never deserved to. Rachel lost friends. People who took Alyssa's side before they saw the truth. People who called her disloyal, jealous, brainwashed by Caleb's victim sob story. She didn't tell me about it, but I saw it in her eyes, the fatigue, the regret. You okay? I asked one day. She shrugged. Wasn't expecting to feel this lonely. You're not alone. She smiled. Tired. Grateful. But I knew I had to be careful. I couldn't let her become another casualty of this war. Not her. Once Rachel started drifting from Alyssa, the others followed slowly. Tasha, the party girl who always lived in Alyssa's shadow, reached out with a cryptic message. So is it true she lied about you crying at that party? Jen, the one who always acted like Alyssa's echo, started canceling brunches, liking Rachel's posts, staying silent during gossip sessions. The circle was cracking. One fissure at a time. But I wasn't celebrating, because Maya was right. Every day I walked deeper into this game, I lost something. Innocence, certainty, maybe even a bit of my soul. But I wasn't done yet. I'd started the fire, and it was time to watch her kingdom burn. In chess, the queen's power doesn't matter if her knights hold the line. Alyssa's knight, her shield, her attack dog, her most loyal friend, was Vanessa Dillard. Where Rachel had hesitated, doubted, cracked under the weight of guilt, Vanessa was different. She believed in Alyssa not blindly, but fiercely. She was the one who defended her in group chats, who iced out anyone who questioned her, who looked you dead in the eye when you tried to talk logic and said, "You just don't know her like I do." Vanessa didn't need charm. She had certainty. If Alyssa was the illusion, Vanessa was the enforcer, and she was next. Before you approach someone like Vanessa, you study them. I spent days watching her social patterns. She was a fitness freak, ran at dawn, boxed on the weekends, did spin class like it was religion. She was pre-med and ran the school's wellness blog. She was allergic to bullshit and obsessed with loyalty. Her dad was military. Her mom ran a clinic. Vanessa believed in control, honor, and hard truth, so I wouldn't manipulate her. I'd give her the truth in doses so pure they'd choke. I waited until she was alone rare, but it happened. She was at the rec center, cooling down after a kickboxing session, wiping sweat from her forehead, earbuds half in. I walked up slow, not threatening. Vanessa. She looked up, brows already creased. What? I'm not here to make you pick sides. Good, because I already have. Just hear me out. Her silence was permission. I sat beside her on the bench and pulled out my phone. I'm not trying to convince you Alyssa's a bad person. I'm just showing you what she said about you. That got her attention. I tapped on a folder. Screenshots, recordings, voicemails, DMs. Some were from Rachel. Some from other friends who'd grown disillusioned. Some from Alyssa herself, careless, mocking, cruel. Vanessa's such a watchdog, LMAO. She'd hide a body from me and not ask questions. She's too intense sometimes. It's cute. Like a golden retriever on Red Bull. She'll turn if I want her to. Just gotta frame it right. I didn't say a word. Vanessa scrolled in silence. Her jaw clenched. Eyes darkened. She didn't flinch, but I saw it. Subtle as a skipped heartbeat. You done? She asked, voice tight. I just thought you deserved the full picture, not my version. Hers. She stood. If you think I'll just abandon her over some screenshots, you're dumber than she said. I nodded. She didn't lie about that. I was dumb. For a long time. She left. But she didn't delete the folder. I didn't expect Vanessa to flip overnight. People like her don't break, they bend, test, calculate. But cracks started showing. 2 days later, Maya told me Vanessa skipped Alyssa's birthday dinner. Claimed she had a shift at the clinic. Then Jen mentioned Vanessa asked a lot of questions about the group chat. Questions that made people squirm. I knew what she was doing. Recon. Vanessa didn't believe anything she couldn't prove. So I gave her more. That night, I sent one last file. A recording Rachel had forwarded to me. It was Alyssa's voice, slurred but clear, a party from 2 months back. Vanessa, please. She thinks we're ride or die, but I could ruin her social life in a weekend. She doesn't know half the shit I've said about her. She's not my friend. She's my fucking bulldog. I didn't add commentary, just attached the audio, then waited. Vanessa didn't text back. Didn't react. Nothing. But the next day, the university gym's front desk girl posted something cryptic on her Insta story. Vanessa just threw a medicine ball at a wall so hard it cracked the plaster. Somebody pissed her off. That afternoon, Alyssa's Snap Map location changed from Vanessa's dorm to some guy's apartment across town, far away from her usual crew. Rachel messaged me. She's spiraling. Said Vanessa's acting weird and cold. Blamed me for turning her. I didn't respond. Nay, I was watching the domino fall. Vanessa cornered me 4 days later. Library. Late. I was working on a group psych project. She walked in like a storm. No warning. Get up, she said. I stood. You wanted me to see her for what she is. Fine. I see it. I didn't reply, but don't think for a second I'm doing this for you. You're part of this mess. You let her string you along and then dragged us into your pity parade. I nodded. You're right. Her fists were clenched at her sides. If I walk away from her, I lose half my circle. People I've known since orientation. But you gain your own voice, I said. She didn't move for a long moment. Then she whispered, I don't even know what mine sounds like anymore. That's when I knew I had her. Vanessa didn't go public. That wasn't her way. She just stopped answering Alyssa's texts, stopped showing up to her events, stopped defending her. And in a group dynamic like ours, silence speaks louder than condemnation. People noticed. Alyssa noticed. The once inseparable protector was suddenly neutral. Quiet, distant. And Alyssa? She didn't handle rejection well. She panicked. She started clinging tighter to the remaining girls. Tasha, Jen, even Maya, who she'd barely tolerated before. She threw impromptu wine nights, reposted old pictures with captions like, my ride or dies wouldn't trade these baddies for anything. It reeked of desperation. The queen was guarding her throne, but her guard was gone. Maya confronted me again. You're getting good at this, she said one night as we sat on the quad. The wind rattling the trees around us. At what? Breaking people. I didn't answer. She looked at me, hard. Are you trying to hurt her? Or trying to win? What's the difference? She stood. The difference is what's left of you when it's over. With Rachel and Vanessa distanced, Alyssa's grip weakened fast. People didn't defend her anymore. They tolerated her. They nodded, smiled, but their eyes were different. You could feel it at parties, a little more space between her and the group. A little less laughter. Conversations shifting the moment she left the room. She started confronting people, asking if they were talking shit. She messaged Rachel 5 times in a row one night. WTF are you doing? I know you're talking to him. You think you're safe with him? He's using you. Vanessa is brainwashed. I'm the only one who actually gave a damn about her. You're all fake. The spiral had started, and I was just getting started. When cornered, Alyssa didn't retreat. Well, she adapted. With Rachel and Vanessa drifting, her next move was pure Alyssa, a PR campaign disguised as bonding. Suddenly, she was vulnerable, posting sad girl quotes about toxic men and losing people who never cared. She went on TikTok with Storytime videos full of vague illusions. Ever had someone pretend to love you just so they could destroy your life later? Ladies, if he comes back after breaking you, it's not love. It's control. People ate it up. She was flipping the narrative, making herself the hurt one, the survivor, and people wanted to believe her, especially the ones who weren't sure where they stood, which made it the perfect time to pull the next string. Tasha was Alyssa's fun friend, the one who knew every party before it was public, the one who changed her aesthetic every month like it was a costume change, the one who never said no, even when she should have. Tasha was chaos wrapped in glitter and impulse. But more importantly, Tasha was insecure, deeply, secretly, desperately. She was the weakest link, not because she was stupid, but because she was constantly reinventing herself to be whoever the room needed. And if I made the room change, she'd follow. I didn't come at Tasha directly. That would spook her, make her retreat back to Alyssa for safety. Instead, I came in sideways through mutuals. I knew she'd been trying to build her brand lately, posting day-in-the-life videos, launching a short-lived podcast called HotTakes with Tash, which she later deleted after it tanked. So I messaged her, Hey, your stories lately have been fire. You ever thought of doing more long-form content? Compliment first. Easy bait. She replied fast. Yes, but IDK what's worth doing LOL. Everyone's doing the same stuff. You're way more original than most. You just need people around you who get it. Boom. Next time I saw her, she smiled longer than she needed to, laughed at a joke I didn't really make. I asked if I still talk to Rachel, followed by a, not like I care. She's just been MIA. It had begun. Tasha lived off attention, so I gave it to her. Subtle, measured, like IV drops of dopamine. I boosted her posts, reacted to stories, DM'd support when she looked down. I told her she had taste, that her ideas were smarter than people gave credit for. And when she started opening up, it didn't surprise me. Alyssa's been acting off lately, right? Like, so dramatic. She thinks she's Taylor Swift in a diss track era. I love her, but she can be a lot. Vanessa ghosts her once, and suddenly we're in a war zone. You were her punching bag, huh? That's F asterisk kiked up. I didn't even have to say anything. Tasha wanted to say it. She just needed to feel safe doing it. So I made her feel safe. Then I showed her why she wasn't. Alyssa noticed the shift. Suddenly, Tasha was asking questions, showing up to parties with Rachel, quoting things I'd said. And Alyssa? She panicked. I knew because Maya sent me a screenshot. Alyssa. Tash is acting weird. I think Caleb's playing her now too, Alyssa. She's so dumb sometimes. Like literally she just follows whoever gasses her up the most. Alyssa. Bet she'd sell her soul for 50K followers. It was stupid and sloppy. And so, Alyssa. And Maya, she forwarded that to me with just 3 words. Use it carefully. So I did. I sent Tasha a voice memo. Not a long one. Just calm, honest, quiet. Hey, look, I wasn't going to send this because I didn't want to stir anything. But if someone I trusted said this about me, I'd want to know. Then I dropped the screenshots. Tasha left me on read for 3 hours. Then she posted this to her story black screen. White text. Classic Tasha drama font. It's always the ones closest to you who talk the most shit. She didn't name names. But the next day, she unfollowed Alyssa. 2 hours later, Alyssa posted a Finsta story saying, people don't change. They just reveal who they were when the attention shifts. And that was the moment it broke. Tasha chose her audience. And the audience wasn't Alyssa. The fallout was loud. Tasha went full public. She started resharing Rachel's posts, hanging with Vanessa, even dropped a shady podcast episode called When the Queen Bee Gets Stung. It was messy, unsubtle, exactly what Alyssa hated most. But more than that, it turned the group. Because Tasha had followers, people who weren't close enough to Alyssa to know the truth, but close enough to wonder. And once the gossip loop began, it didn't stop. People dug up old screenshots, DMs from other guys Alyssa had messed with, group chat logs where she bragged about emotionally training dudes like puppies. Every fake layer peeled off. And underneath it all, she was just cruel. She didn't stay quiet. Of course not. She posted her own screenshots cherry-picked out of context, trying to paint me as manipulative. She called me a stalker, claimed I was harassing her, but it was too late. Rachel, Vanessa, and Tasha had seen too much. People pushed back. Some even posted before-after Alyssa stories, talking about how they'd lost themselves around her. And then someone leaked the audio, the party clip, the one where she called Vanessa a bulldog and mocked Rachel's breakdown after her dad died. That was the kill shot. Her comments turned off. Her stories went dark. Her group chat? Silent. She messaged me a week later. "Maya, you got what you wanted, so what now?" I didn't reply at first. No, because I didn't know. I'd set the house on fire. But what do you do when the fire burns out? I stared at her message for an hour before finally writing, "I don't know." She read it, didn't answer. You'd think I felt triumph, relief, closure. But all I felt was the weight of what it took. I watched her story views drop from 3K to 90. I saw her wandering campus alone, avoiding eye contact. I heard she switched majors, stopped going to parties, lost her internship. I ruined her. And yet, the ache in my chest didn't go away. The betrayal still echoed. I thought revenge would erase the hurt. But all it did was make me understand it better. Alyssa wasn't stupid. She saw the walls closing and the girls falling away, the cold shoulders, the parties she wasn't invited to anymore. So she pivoted. Hard. Suddenly, she was all about mental health, posting therapy memes, trauma quotes, sharing her healing journey in captions that tried to reframe her downfall as growth. Sometimes you have to lose people to find yourself. They said I was fake, but maybe I was just protecting my peace. Let people talk. You keep evolving. To the casual eye, she looked enlightened. To those of us who knew, it was camouflage. But it worked. Sort of. A few girls not in her circle. Just the satellites started orbiting her again. Commenting soft hearts. DMing affirmations. The ones who didn't know the full picture, but wanted to believe the version where she was a misunderstood soul and I was a bitter ex. And that scared me more than I expected. Because Alyssa didn't need many people. She just needed a few believers and a spotlight. I was in the campus coffee shop, half working, half thinking about pulling the plug on the whole damn operation. And that's when she sat across from me. Julia, my ex, from before Alyssa. Before all of this. Long hair, denim jacket, same quiet intensity in her eyes. We hadn't talked in over a year. Not since things ended messy, but not cruel. "You've been busy," she said, sipping her iced chai. I blinked. "You've been watching?" She shrugged. "People talk. Screenshots float. Podcasts drop." I felt my chest tighten. "Did you come here to tell me I'm the villain?" She studied me. "No. I came here to ask if you even recognize yourself anymore." I didn't know what to say. Not right away. Because Julia wasn't just anyone. She was the last person I'd loved without agenda. Without games. Was she really that bad? She asked. I laughed. "You saw the screenshots." I did. And she was awful. No question. She paused. "But Caleb, this thing you're doing, it's not justice anymore. It's theater." I leaned forward. "She destroyed me, Jules. She used me, lied to me, mocked me behind my back like I was some kind of emotional chew toy." "I believe you." Her voice was gentle. "But I also know what it's like when your pain becomes your compass. You stop navigating. You just drift into the storm." I looked away. "Rachel," she continued, "she looks haunted. Vanessa's practically disappeared. Tasha's performing her rage like it's a TikTok trend. And you?" She reached across the table. "You look tired, Caleb. Not satisfied. Not free." I went home that night and dug up the journal I hadn't touched in months. And I remembered it all. The night it broke. We'd been at her apartment. Alyssa had just come back from a night out with the girls. Tipsy and glowing. Makeup smudged, but still flawless. I had dinner ready. She was 30 minutes late. No apology, just a, "You're cute when you wait for me." And then, my phone buzzed. It was a screenshot from Maya. A group chat I'd never seen. Alyssa, Rachel, Tasha, and a few of her guy friends. And right there, my name. "Caleb's so clingy it's almost cute. Like a puppy you accidentally start feeding. He told me he loved me last night. LOL. He's gonna hate me when he finds out I was with Jax 2 weeks ago. Bet I can drag this another month." I remember staring at the screen, reading it again. And again. Trying to believe it was a joke, a misunderstanding. But when I looked at her across the table, smiling like nothing mattered, I knew she had never cared. And that moment, that one instant rewired something in me. Only one girl remained. Jen. Not as loud as Tasha. Not as intense as Vanessa. Not as conflicted as Rachel. But loyal. Solid, quietly observant. She hadn't picked a side. Not publicly, not privately. She just stayed. Alyssa needed her now more than ever. And I wasn't sure I had it in me to flip one more, but I had to try, because Jen wasn't just the last one. She was the balance point. If she walked, Alyssa wouldn't just fall. She'd shatter. I met Jen at the lake trail. She liked nature, solitude, things that didn't talk back. I walked beside her in silence for 5 minutes before she said, "I know why you're here. I'm not going to pressure you." Good. Because I won't be pressured. We stopped by the edge of the water. Dragonflies skimmed the surface. "She's not innocent," Jen said. "I've known that longer than you probably think." "Then why stay?" She shrugged. "Because not everyone gets the luxury of walking away clean. We all wear masks, Caleb. Some of us just have better makeup artists." I smiled. "That's poetic." She looked at me. "But you're not a hero." "I know. You're hurt, and hurting people. I know that too." She turned to leave, then paused. "If I walk away from her, I'm not walking to you. I'm not asking you to." She nodded once. "Good. Then maybe I can finally just be me." And she walked off. 3 days later, Alyssa went live. Instagram, no filters, no makeup. Just a dimly lit bedroom and red-rimmed eyes. She talked for 10 minutes straight about betrayal, about online bullying, about a certain ex who coordinated a takedown campaign. She cried. Real tears? I don't know. But it didn't matter, because people didn't believe her anymore. Ooh. Comments rolled in. "Girl, we've seen the screenshots. Maybe take a break from manipulating for once. Where's the apology to Rachel? So now you're the victim?" She ended the stream early, then deleted her entire feed. No. And then she disappeared. Maya texted me the next night. "Maya, you got what you wanted. She's gone." Me. "Did I want this?" Maya. "Don't play dumb. You needed this." Me. "That's not the same thing." Maya. "No, it's not. She met me on campus the next morning. We sat on a bench by the old student center." "I saw her leave," Maya said. "Packed her stuff into her car. Said she was done pretending. Didn't say goodbye." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "She used people," I muttered. "She hurt people." "She did," Maya nodded. "And now, she's gone. And you? You look like you lost something." "Maybe I did." Maya stared out at the trees. "You don't get to burn down your demons and expect to walk away smelling like roses." That night, I turned off my phone. I sat on the balcony, no music, no podcasts, no noise, just the wind. And for the first time in weeks, I didn't think about Alyssa. I didn't think about revenge, or guilt, or shame. I just sat and let the quiet wrap around me like a blanket. Alyssa was gone. Not dead, not vanished, not some melodramatic exit, just absent. From socials, from campus, from my life. The group chats no longer mentioned her. Vanessa was traveling. Tasha was deep into her influencer arc. Rachel and I, we spoke, but never about her. Maya stayed distant, watching but never interfering. And for the first week, that silence felt like healing. But by the second, it felt like a vacuum. Like I'd spent so long reacting to her, I didn't know how to exist without her shadow. And that terrified me more than any revenge ever had. It was a Thursday, late morning. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Hey, you don't know me, but I knew Alyssa before you did. We need to talk." I stared at it, tried to ignore it. Then it came again. "You think you know her story. You don't." I didn't reply. Instead, I clicked the number, searched it on socials. Nothing. Private account. No posts, just a username. @NotWhoYouThink. I was about to block it when a final message came through. "She did to you what she did to me. And to others. I just don't want you to think you're the only one." I cracked. Curiosity? Ego? Maybe a little of both. I replied with just one word. "Talk." She called within seconds. Voice calm, tired, mature. "Name's Elise," she said. "We dated in high school." Well, dated is a generous word. I sat down, heart thudding. "I found your podcast," she continued. "The one Tasha guested on, she dropped your name." "You know what Alyssa did to me?" I asked. "I know she used you. Same as she used me. Same as she used Jason. Same as Lauren. Same as—" She paused. "Well, the list gets long." I swallowed. "How far back does it go?" Elise laughed. "Depends how far you want to look." Over the next hour, Elise unraveled a version of Alyssa I hadn't imagined, one more calculating, more experienced. She told me about the private group Alyssa once ran online where she and a few others would share screenshots of boys they were training. They treated manipulation like a sport. It wasn't even about hate, Elise said. It was about control. Making people need her, then discarding them when they got too close. There was more. A classmate who left school mid-year after Alyssa exposed her secrets. A boy who tried to harm himself after their breakup. Friendships that burned out in quiet, mysterious ways, always with Alyssa at the center. Always the survivor in the story she told. "And no one stopped her?" I asked. "Some tried," Elise said. "But she's good. Real good. Until she slips, and you made her slip." Before we hung up, Elise said one last thing. There's a flash drive. It's old, but it's got videos, messages, voice memos. From back when Alyssa didn't care who saw behind the curtain. I paused. Where is it? She gave it to a guy named Drew for safekeeping, or leverage, or both. But they had a falling out. Bad one. My stomach twisted. She tried to ruin him too. Finding Drew was easier than I thought. He was still local, still on campus, an undergrad finishing late, quiet guy, film major, liked skate videos and camera drones. I sent him a message. I think we have a mutual ghost. I'm not here to hurt you, I just want to understand her. He didn't reply. For 2 days. Then, meet me at the old media lab. Friday, after dark. Come alone. The media lab was half-abandoned old editing suites, dusty cables, cheap projectors nobody bothered to fix. Drew looked older than I expected. Not by years, by weight. Like the years with her hadn't just passed, but pressed down. He didn't talk much. Just handed me a beat-up USB. Watch it alone, and don't say my name in anything. I nodded. Just, he said as I turned to go. Whatever you're doing, make sure you're not becoming her to beat her. Back at my apartment, I plugged in the drive. It's you, and I watched dozens of clips. Some just her talking to the camera. Others were screen records of voice memos. One was a private video message to Drew, the camera close. Her voice low. The trick is not to make them love you. It's to make them think you're the only one who can love them back. That's what makes them stay. I felt sick. People say I'm cold. Maybe. But cold gets respect. Warm gets stepped on. She laughed. I don't fake emotion. I just choose when to use it. And then the one that broke me. Caleb. He's easy. All heart. All need. I just had to give him a few crumbs and he handed me his whole damn soul. Kind guys make the best pawns. I turned it off. Sat in the dark. I sent her one line. She's worse than I thought. Maya replied instantly. Then you know why I helped you. And I did. But also, what does that make us? I typed. Survivors, she wrote. Or sinners. Maybe both. I could have leaked it. The footage, the tapes, the receipts, made it public, destroyed her completely. But I didn't. Because somewhere in that moment, staring at her eyes on that screen, hearing her dissect me like a case study, I realized something darker. If I released it, I'd be finishing her game, not ending it. So I dragged the files to a blank drive, locked it in my drawer, and walked away from the screen. Because sometimes, not burning the house down takes more strength than lighting the match. Alyssa was gone, but her echo wasn't. Even when the dust settled, I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop for her to come back. Post something cryptic. Tell the world her side of the story. Twist the truth just enough to crawl back into people's sympathy. She didn't, and maybe that should have felt like victory. But it didn't. Because while she vanished, I stayed. With the consequences. People stopped whispering about her. They started whispering about me. He really went that far? Revenge doesn't look good on anyone. He planned it all for months? That's messed up. Isn't he just as toxic? It didn't matter that she hurt people, that her words were cruel, that there were files and screenshots and stories from a dozen others. Because in the end, people remember the last hit. And that had been mine. Vanessa blocked me. Tasha unfollowed, then refollowed, then unfollowed again, the social media equivalent of an eye roll. Jen. She posted a cryptic quote. And sometimes the people who rescue you are the ones who burned the building down. That Rachel was the only one who stayed. But even she looked at me differently now. It's less like a friend. More like someone watching the weather waiting to see which way I'd turn next. We got coffee once, sat in awkward silence. You okay? I asked. She sipped her drink. Are you? Not really. She didn't say anything. We finished our drinks, said nothing of substance, and left separately. I found it while cleaning, a crumpled page in my desk drawer. The first list I ever made: names, dates, little notes, a plan. Tasha appeal to her loyalty. Vanessa mirror her emotions. Rachel tell the truth first. Jen let her come to you. Alyssa expose without direct contact. My handwriting looked foreign now. Tight, determined, cold. I almost threw it away. Instead, I burned it in the sink, watched the edges curl, blacken, fade into ash. And I stood there long after the flame died, breathing in what I'd become. It was almost evening when the knock came. Not urgent, not timid, just steady. I opened the door. Julia, my ex. Again. This time she didn't wait for permission, just walked past me, into the apartment like she still had keys. She turned to me, arms crossed. You really think it ends here? I blinked. What are you? Alyssa? She cut in. You think disappearing means it's over? You burned her down in public. You really believe she won't come back for that? I hesitated. Julia stepped forward. She doesn't forget. Or forgive. She buries. And when she comes back, she'll have an army and a narrative. I sat on the armrest of the couch. She can't rebuild, I said. Julia raised a brow. Then why am I getting messages again? That stopped me. What kind of messages? She handed me her phone. DMs. From an anonymous account. Memes, private screenshots, twisted retellings about me. She's not done, Julia said. She's just reloading. I messaged Maya. No answer. Which was rare, so I tried again. Me. She's coming back. Julia's getting DMs. Me. I thought we were done. No reply. Then at 1:07 a.m., one line. Maya. Meet me tomorrow. Rooftop lot, 4th and Madison, alone. The rooftop was quiet. City skyline in the distance. Warm wind. Golden hour, fading into blue. Maya was leaning against the railing, hoodie up, cigarette in hand. You smoke now? I asked. She shrugged. Just helps when I hate myself. I didn't laugh. Julia said Alyssa's building a new story, using burner accounts. Maya nodded. I know. She reached out. I blinked. To you? Of course. She always does. My chest tightened. Are you? No, she cut in. But I thought about it. There was silence, the kind that stretched too far. She made me feel powerful. Maya whispered. When I helped you, it was to hurt her, not to help you. I swallowed. So now what? Maya turned to me. I think you have two options, she said. Go back into the fire and try to kill the monster again. Or walk away and let her scream into an empty room. Will she stop? No. Then why let her win? Maya stepped close. Because when you fight monsters too long, you stop noticing your reflections change. Maya's words stuck to my mind like a weight I couldn't shake. She warned that fighting monsters changes you, and I couldn't stop wondering if I was losing myself. The silence after her words haunted me, making sleep impossible. The next day, I realized I needed help. Not from her, but from someone who could guide me through the mess inside my head. Alyssa's chaos wasn't the real fight anymore. I needed to understand myself. So I made an appointment with therapist. Her name was Dr. Reyes. Julia referred me. First session was awkward. Second one cracked something open. By the third I said it. She didn't break me. I broke myself trying to make her love me. That sat in the room like thunder, and Dr. Reyes just nodded. I wrote it late one night. A letter to Alyssa. I didn't hold back. I wrote about the first time I felt hope with her. The moment I saw it was all a lie. The betrayal. The rage. The revenge. The parts I regret. The parts I don't. I ended it with, you didn't ruin me. I'm still here, but I won't be your echo anymore. I never sent it. I folded it, sealed it, and buried it under the floorboard of my closet. A time capsule, or maybe a tombstone. Rachel texted. Rachel. Therapy? Me. Yep. Rachel. Good. I hope it helps. Me. Why do you care? Rachel. Because you did a bad thing, but you weren't born bad. Pause. Rachel. You're not her. Not yet. Weeks passed. Julia and I spoke sometimes platonically. Carefully, like two people walking near a cliff edge. Maya disappeared again. Maybe that was best. Jen sent me a video of her hiking with no caption. A peace offering, maybe. I hearted it. The school year wound down. Finals came, and somewhere between the end of April and the beginning of May, I realized I wasn't haunted anymore. Still scarred, still rebuilding. But not haunted. And when I looked in the mirror one morning, no bags under my eyes, no bitter fire in my chest. I said something I hadn't said in almost a year. I'm okay. It had been almost 6 months. 6 months since the list burned, since the tapes were locked away, since the war ended not with a bang, but with silence. My world was smaller now, quieter. More real. I saw my family more, spent weekends helping my nephew with homework, began volunteering at a non-profit that worked with high school kids on emotional intelligence. I know irony, right? And I laughed again. Not the sharp, performative kind, the kind that felt like oxygen. So I wasn't ready, not even remotely, when I turned the corner at that bookstore downtown, coffee in hand, and came face to face with the last chapter I'd sworn I'd close. Alyssa. She didn't look like I remembered. No designer hoodie, no subtle flexes, no air of control or orbit. She was wearing jeans and a faded shirt, no makeup, hair in a loose bun. And for a moment, just a flicker, she looked more real than I'd ever seen her. I froze. She didn't. Hey, she said. Not cold, not friendly, just human. I didn't respond. She gave a tight smile. Thought I'd run into you eventually. My voice felt caught in my throat, but I forced it out. What do you want? She looked down at her hands. Nothing, she said. Maybe just 10 minutes. And then I'm gone. I almost walked away. Almost. But something in me whispered, you never listened. Not really. Just assumed she was the villain. Maybe she is. But maybe. Not only. So I sat down at a small cafe table outside and waited for the devil to explain herself. She didn't cry. Didn't beg. Didn't try to flip the script, she just talked. When I was 12, she began, my mom told me men are either hungry or angry. If you can't feed them, distract them. She chuckled bitterly. I believed her. Still do sometimes. She paused. I don't think I ever loved you. That's the truth. But I liked the way you looked at me. Like I was worth something. I liked the power. And I hated how much I needed it. I said nothing. You were too good to me, she said. And I hated you for it. Because I knew I'd break it. I always do. Silence again. Is this an apology? I asked. She shook her head. No, you deserve one. But I'm not there yet. I needed to face you. See if I still scared you. You don't. Good. She stood to leave, then paused. One last thing, she said. You're not the first person I hurt. But you're the first who hurt me back. I blinked. Did I? You made me look at myself. I didn't like what I saw. And with that, she walked away. I saw her, I told Dr. Reyes. She raised an eyebrow. How did that go? Surprisingly dull, I said. No drama, no slap, just clarity. And how do you feel now? I stared at the floor. I don't hate her anymore. Dr. Reyes nodded slowly. That's progress. But be careful, forgiveness isn't forgetting. And healing doesn't mean reopening old doors. I smirked. Trust me, that door's not just closed. I bricked it shut. She smiled. Even better. Later that week, Rachel called. Not texted, called. You okay? She asked. Heard about the Alyssa sighting. News travels fast. Jen saw you two talking. She was ready to call a priest. I laughed. She's not coming back, I said. Not really. I think she just wanted closure. And you? I wanted it too. Didn't know I did until it happened. Rachel paused. Then, you're not the same guy I met last year. That good or bad? Good, she said. But sad too. Why sad? Because I like the hopeful version of you. The one who believed in love. I was quiet for a long time. I think he's still in there, I said. He just needed a reset. 3 weeks later, I met someone. Not through drama. Not through schemes. Just mutual friends. Her name was Leah. Graphic designer. Quirky. Danced when she thought no one was looking. Loved bad sci-fi and good coffee. We had lunch, then dinner. And then stargazing in the bed of her truck. At one point, she looked at me, eyes soft, and said, "You've got a guarded smile." I raised a brow. What does that mean? It means you're trying, but you've been through fire. I laughed, something like that. She didn't pry, didn't push, just offered presence. And for the first time in a long time, I let someone hold my hand without bracing for the burn. She sent a voice memo. Short. Direct. You're probably doing better. I hope so. I think I'm going to disappear for a while. Not in a bad way, just detoxing from everything. Socials, gossip, games. You were a hurricane, Caleb. And I was part of the storm. No regrets. Just time to clear the sky. Take care. I listened to it twice, then deleted it. Not out of spite, but peace. One night, alone in my room, I pulled out the mirror Alyssa had given me back when things were good. It was small, cheap, a novelty. But on the back, it still had that inscription she wrote. So you remember who sees you best. I stared at it for a long time. Then I turned it over, looked at myself, and whispered, I do now. Then I dropped it in the trash. That week, I had a dream. I was back in that first park, the one where Alyssa kissed me under the yellow leaves. She was there. But this time, she didn't smile. She handed me something small, a piece of paper. On it was one word, free. And then she walked away, for good. I never posted about it, never told the full story publicly, because this wasn't for likes. It wasn't for revenge anymore. It was about letting go. Of her. Of who I was. Of who I thought I had to be to feel powerful. Now I just live, I work, I write. I love when I can. And every now and then, I think of Alyssa. Not with hate and not with pain, just with distance. She played with my heart, and I played the game back. But the biggest victory? I stopped playing. It started with a girl. Not a storm, not a tragedy, not even a warning. Just a girl and a smile. And somehow, that small beginning unraveled everything. Now standing in the park where we first met, where leaves still fell like quiet confetti, I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't waiting for a sign, or an apology, or the next twist in the story. There was no next. Just me, whole, and finally unburdened. I began writing again. Not for social media, not for anyone else, just for me. I kept a journal. Not daily, but often enough. Some entries were just lists, things I survived, people I miss, lies I once believed. Some were confessions. I thought revenge would fix me. I thought power would protect me. I thought if I hurt her back, the pain would vanish. Others were hopes. I want to love someone who doesn't need to be impressed, just understood. And one was a goodbye. Alyssa, I forgive you. That doesn't mean I trust you or want you in my life. It just means I won't carry your weight anymore. It's yours again. You dropped it on me and I held it long enough. No more. I folded that one into a paper boat and let it float down the river behind my apartment. It came in mid-June. A text, unknown. I know I'm the last person you want to hear from, but I'm leaving the city, for good. I just wanted to say you were right about me. Take care, Caleb. I stared at the screen for a long time. No name. But I knew. I didn't reply. Not out of spite, but because there was nothing else to say. One Sunday, my mom invited me over. My younger sister was there. So was my niece, chewing on a crayon. My dad grilled like it was a sacred ritual, and my mom nagged him with a smile that hadn't changed in 20 years. We laughed, ate, talked about nothing, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I had to perform to be liked. When we sat down after dessert, my mom put her hand over mine. "You look lighter," she said. I smiled. "I feel it," she nodded. "That girl broke your heart." "Yeah. But you put it back together." A pause. "And you made it better than it was before." One morning, Leah, the woman I'd started dating a few months back, stood next to me brushing her teeth. I watched her in the mirror. The way she existed without effort. The way she didn't fill the room to compete, but fit into it. Gentle presence. Grounded laughter. No masks. She caught me staring. "What?" she asked, smiling with foam in her mouth. "Nothing," I said. "I'm just glad it's you." She spit. "You're a softie. You have no idea." She kissed my cheek, then walked off humming to herself. And I thought, yeah, this is what real feels like. I logged into my old anonymous account, the one I'd used during the revenge months. Inbox full of dust, but one message sat unread, unopened, time-stamped weeks ago. From Vanessa. "Vanessa, I get it now. I didn't back then. But I've had my own fallout with her, and I realized you weren't cruel. You were careful, strategic, honest. Maybe not perfect, but not evil either. Anyway, I'm sorry for judging you. I hope you're doing okay. I really do." I didn't reply. But this time, it didn't feel like silence. It felt like peace. In August, I was invited to speak at a mental wellness event for college students. Topic: trusting again after betrayal. My hands shook on stage, but my voice didn't. I told the truth. Not the TikTok version. Not the dramatic Reddit-ready monologue. Just what happened and what it cost me. At the end, a kid came up, maybe 19. Hoodie pulled tight, eyes downcast. "Nuts," he said. "She made me feel like a king. Then acted like I never existed." I nodded. "Yeah, that'll make you question everything. What did you do?" I smiled gently. "I broke, then I healed. Not all at once, but eventually." He nodded, looked like he might cry, then whispered, "Thanks." No stage lights or applause could match that. It came in early fall. In the dream, I was walking through a crowded room. Everyone wore masks, different smiles, different eyes, but the same mask shape. And there she was, Alyssa, unmasked, alone. I walked past her. She didn't call out, didn't reach for me, just watched. I walked out the door and into the light and woke up smiling. Not because I missed her, but because in the dream, I didn't look back. In my journal, I wrote, "You can love someone deeply and still walk away. You can be hurt and not become the weapon that hurt you. You can burn down bridges and still build new ones, better ones, brick by honest brick." I lost her. Then I lost myself. Then I found me, and he's not perfect, but he's mine. Some stories don't end with grand reunions or shocking twists. Some end when you realize you don't need them to continue. I don't know where Alyssa is now. Don't know if she thinks of me, or if she ever really felt what she said she did. But I know this. She played with my heart, and I played the game back. But in the end, I won not by destroying her, but by rebuilding me. And with that, I turned the page. The end.